안녕하세요. 오늘 해볼 게임은 더 포가튼 시티 제 스토리 어드벤처 게임입니다. 이게 원래 스카이림 모드에서 시작된 게임이라고 하는데 그 스카이림 모드로 있었을 때 굉장히 그 호평을 많이 받고 이렇게 따로 게임으로 제작되었다고 해요. 그래서 오늘은 이 포가튼 시티를 한번 해볼 거고요. 또 굉장히 기대가 됩니다. 최근에는 또 액션 게임만 했기 때문에 이런 좀 어드벤처스러운 게임 하나 할 때 됐죠. 자, 그럼 한번 해보게 됐습니다. 자, 해보겠습니다. 과연 이 불가사의한 마을, 이 게임의 컨셉 자체가 과거의 로마로 돌아가서 현재에 살고 있는 주인공이 과거의 로마로 돌아가서 뭔가 이상한 규칙을 가진 마을의 어떤 진실을 파헤치는 그런 내용인데 과연 그 마을에 숨겨진 음모는 무엇인지 또 그 뒤에 숨겨진 진실은 무엇인지 한번 알아보죠. 새로 한번 해봅시다. 이 게임은 3명이서 4년 동안 개발했습니다. 굉장히 고생이 많으셨겠네요. 멀티 엔딩을 지원하는 추리 게임입니다. 완력이 아니라 심오한 대화와 탐험으로 풀어나간 재미가 있습니다. 현재 낯선 하늘이다. 누구세요? 띠용.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
저요? 저는 체형을 선택하세요. 이게 여자고 이게 남자겠죠? 요즘 나오는 게임들은 하나같이 그 남자 여자라고 구분을 해놓지 않더라고요. 뭔가 좀 PC 이슈가 있어서인지 체형이라는 되게 애매한 단어로 뭉뚱그리더라고. 제 체형은 이런 체형입니다. 과거에는 이런 체형을 남자라고들 많이 불렀죠. 하지만 요즘은 남자라고 부르면 안 되나 봐요. 피부색은 한 이 정도. 이름은 친구입니다. 이거 아까 잠깐 그래픽 테스트 해본다고 캐릭터 하나 만들어놨는데 때리로 할게요.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
제가 강에 빠진 이유요. 설명하자면 긴데 저 얼마 전에 루나코인이라는 걸 샀는데 저는 마지막에 고고학자 이게 또 특성이 있구나. 촉보 임무는 군용 화기를 지녔지만 탄창은 10발 뿐이다. 더 이상 얻을 수 없으니 신중하게 사용해야 된다. 그러니까 결정적인 순간에 10발을 쏠 수 있다 이거죠. 이게 아무래도 고대 로마 이런 곳으로 가는 컨셉이니까 총알을 거기서 수급할 순 없고 아무튼 10발을 쏠 수 있다. 도망자는 질주가 25% 빨라진다. 이게 의미가 있나? 빠르게 뛰면은 막 안 잡히거나 그럴 수 있나? 기억 상실, 맷집이 50% 증가, 탱커고요. 그래도 이건 말빨 게임인데 추리 게임인데 어느 정도 그 지능 캐로 가야 되지 않겠어요? 저는 고대 유적을 찾고 있었습니다.
Oh, you're an archaeologist?
아, 그럼요.
Then you'll definitely want to hear this. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
그러면 저 안 왔으면은 그냥 여기서 평생 있었을 겁니까? 그쵸?
Oh,
자, 먼저 질문 좀 해도 될까요?
Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
사연을 한번 들려주세요.
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
그래서 이름이 뭔데요?
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
이름을 안 알려준다고? 이 수상한데? 사실 내 기억을 잃게 한 사람이 너 아니야? 이름 정도는 알려줘요.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey. It's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
이름 예쁜데. 해줘서
You're
고마워요.
welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
엘은 누구죠?
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not.
아니 뭐야?
But maybe
쟤도
the two
강물에
of you can piece together what you're
떠내려온
doing
거였어?
here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
둘이 원래 아는 사이가 아니었어? 여긴 어디죠?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber. Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
도움을 요청해봤나요?
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul.
얘는 왜 여기 있는 거야, 근데?
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
그래요.
Thank you. Oh, and he left the...
손전등. 이렇게 조사를 할 수 있고. 살펴볼 수 있네요. 아이템을. 아니, 이 약간 반응이 느리다, 손전등 보면 뭐. 엘의 흔적에 관한 단서를 찾아라. 이건 뭐 배터리는 없나? 물에 빠지면 어떻게 됨? 오, 공중부양을 할 수 있고. 야, 다시 강으로 돌아갈래. 흙. 이동이 좀 답답하긴 하구만. 배낭. 해진 등산. 아, 이거 그거잖아. 군용 가방 아니야? 열어봐 이거. 그거네. 그 군인들이 휴가 나올 때 매는 그 가방이니까. 어떻게 이렇게 구현을 잘했지?
If
얘네
you're
편지.
reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side.
문이
Consider
닫혔어.
this an invitation
뭐야?
or a warning. Alworth.
심판을 받으랬는데 이게 그러면 앞면에 올 때 들어가야 되는 게 아닐까요? 그쵸? 다른 거는 없는데 이때 이런 것도 다 찾아봐. 오, 저요? 저는 총대입니다. 이 황금으로 만들었구나. 근데 좀 조각상으로 만들기에는 우주가 너무 현실적인데? 마치 살아있는 사람이 뭔가 빔 같은 거 막 황금이 돼버린 것 같은 그런 당혹감이 있는데? 이상해? 아니 아까 그 초대장에 의롭지 않은 자는 황금의 세례를 받는데 그게 마지막이라고 했잖아요. 그런 의미가 아니야. 이 의롭지 않은 자에 대한 형벌이 그냥 황금으로 바꿔버리는 거지. 이거 살펴볼 수 있다. 고대 문구제거 한 남자를 금으로 만드는 장면. 진짠가봐. 진짜 그냥 금으로 바꿔버릴까? 이거 다 살펴볼 수 있어? 저것만. 이거 쓰러뜨리면 나도 황금 되는 거 아니야? 두사가 도망을 치고 있다. 로딩이 좀 있고요. 이것도 다 황금이네. 이거 섣불리 근데 쓰러트림. 쓰러트리자마자 저장이 되는데? 너무 무서운데? 나 혹시 이 죄가 기록돼 버린 건가? 이 횃불 같은 걸 얻을 수 없나? 군대 사령관. 겁에 질린 로마 군단병. 이 포토모드도 있어? 야, 이런 것도 이런 것도 또 지원하는구만. 모자이크. 아무것도 없고요. 막 드득드득거려. 응? 혹시 엘이야 너? 옷을 입은 게 약간 현대인 같은데? 뭐 엘 본 적 없다면 엘인지 어떡하나. 여기까지 봤으면 그냥 황금 조각상 하나 챙겨서 돌아가자. 여자랑 반띵해도 부자로 살 수 있는데 이거.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options: death, and that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right, and I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
근데 이거 뭐 스크린샷 찍으면 어디에 저장되는 거야? 스크린샷 찍긴 했는데 이거. 그러니까 지금이라도 돌아갈까? 여기서 그냥 돌아가면 근데 못 돌아가잖아. 그 높은 우물에서 떨어졌잖아. 뭐야. 탭으로 퀘스트 일지. 탭을 누르면 된다. 내하고 둥근 처음과 두 여인을 묘사 너무 많이 아파. 뭐야.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
페르세포나의 성소에서 이건 너무 위에 세 개는 너무 의심받을 것 같은데? 길을 잃었다고 해야 될 것 같은데?
Oh, is that right? Well, just make sure you don't get lost in any other sacred places you're not supposed to be. Can't have you disrespecting the gods by accident, can we now? But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
법을 따르면 보수할 거야.
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's
또 황금률이야?
it's kind of horrific. But
황금으로
our
만들어버려?
magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
좋습니다.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows the way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old
Aurelia구나.
boar won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
술집 하시는구나.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well.
저번
She's
리비하고
just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her.
아무것도 훔치지 마라. 아무도 해치지 마라. 그래?
Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo.
20명밖에 안
Most of us
사는데
have almost nothing, just what we had.
되게 크다. 마을이.
On us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Hilarious. You're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm.
내가 뭔지도 알고 있구나.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's
호라티우스.
Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
일단 고분고분하게 가봐.
Yeah.
사진도 한 방 딱 찍어주고.
The only thing you really need to understand right now is the golden rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong.
Oh, don't mind me. I
One
just
of
live
us in
here.
10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the golden rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
누나랑 대화 한번 할까?
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
예쁜데요? 사연을 한번 들어볼까요?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are
딸이시구나.
you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
이곳 사람이 아닙니다.
Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation?
옛날 억양이랑 별 차이가 없나 봐. 여기서 나가는 법을 아십니까?
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too.
여동생이
Is that
탈출했어?
it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
그래. 도와드릴까요?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
금으로 변한 게 아닐까요? 그 금 조각상으로 변했는데 그냥 그 조각상을 못 찾은 것뿐 아닐까? 마지막으로 본 게 언제죠?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together and
이거.
I remember she seemed happy.
사랑을 하지
In love.
사랑을 하면 안
We
된다는
went into our
규칙이
rooms.
있었나?
I went to sleep. And when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
만난 사람이 있었나요?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
이유가?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
그분의 연인과 연관이 있는 걸까요?
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
그것도 찾을 찾아보면 되겠네. 이 센티아의 여동생도.
Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy? I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
숨기시는 게 있는 것 같은데요.
Oh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
그래요. 받아. 내가 요리 안 하니 괜찮다. 삽. 제 냄새가 난다. 요거 화덕에 쓰는 삽이구나. 이런 것도 읽어. 센텔라가 센티우스에게 실종된 애 이름이 센텔라였나? 생일 선물로 주신 펜던트 맞구나. 이 펜던트 다음 페이지가 있네. 요 펜던트가 또 나름 또 중요한 역할을 할 것 같은데. 센티우스님.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
총드리입니다.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great
제가 또
learning.
능지가 좀 되죠.
We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
일단 장단 맞춰줘.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
그거야 범죄를 저지른 사람이 다 없어졌기 때문 아닐까요? 없어요.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call
그걸 근데 누가 하는
the
거야?
golden.
황금으로 만드는
It's
걸?
extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the golden rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, Ask away.
여기선 어떤 행위를 죄로 취급하죠?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder.
도둑질,
But
폭행,
beyond that,
살인.
it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
불신지옥도 죄다. 당신들의 법과 관습은 내가 온 곳에선 야만적이라고 여겨지거든요. 아, 근데 이 야만적이라는 워딩이 너무 강한데 일단 몸을 좀 사려야 되지 않을까.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape.
로마에 왔으면 로마 법을 따라야지.
I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
의심 가는 대상 있나요?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is?
너무 오래 조사해서 나도 잘
What's needed
모르겠다.
here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your
두 글자로
investigation,
몰루라는
the
거죠.
better.
센틸라의 실종과 연관이 있습니까?
Ah, so you know about that already. It's a devastating loss, of course, but that was over 3 weeks ago, and whatever happened to her, it didn't break the golden rule, so I don't think it's connected with our
좀 숨기려고 해.
lies. Still, if you happen to find her and return her to me, I would be eternally grateful.
황금률을 깨려는 게 당신이 아닌지는 어떻게 알죠? 아, 근데 이렇게 자극해도 괜찮은 걸까? 이 정도로 말할까? 진심을 솔직하게 말씀해 주시죠. 일단 자극하지 말아봐.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda.
또
Frankly,
정치
their selfishness and
정치질을
recklessness
한다.
risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
특 저런 사람들 범인 아님. 원래 시간대로 돌아가도록 도와주실 건가요?
If I understand Prosperna's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
그래.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule?
그래요.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
아직
and
더
one
그럽시다.
last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
퀘스트를 우선시하는 선택지다. 이렇게 있군요. 센티아는 센틸라가 사라졌는데도 침착했다. 요거는 일단 지금 당장은 말하지 말고 오케이. 그럼 루크레티아를 먼저 가보고, 이런 것도 언제 주머니에 넣었냐 이거? 무슨 짓을 해도 처음으로 되돌아가기만 했어요. 손전등. 일단 저장. 하하, 저장했다. 나 이제 두려울 게 없어. 악마의 불을 받아라. 하하하. 눈뽕은 죄로 성미별 안 하나 보군. 약병.
My room. Leave before I call Horatius.
아니, 나는 합법적으로
Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you out?
조사할 권한을
Get out, you
부여받았어.
horrid barbarian!
몰래 조사해야 되나? 너 쎄고. 여기는 화장하는 곳이군. 약병, 향수, 훔치지 마. 일단 나도 죄를 저지를 필요는 없어. 센티우스와 센티아에게 탈출할 방법을 찾았어? 스스로 탈출했네? 야, 이거 빠른 저장 키 있나? F5가 빠른 저장이구나. 거칠 게 없지. 일기장. 누구나 비밀을 가질 권리가 있다고 합니다. 다음 장에 내 제일 큰 비밀을 적을 생각이야. 이걸 막 열어보거나 할 수는 없네. 좋아. 한번
Ave.
이 정도면 하고 100만 21, 100만 22. 안녕하세요.
What were you two talking about?
둘이요? 저 혼자인데요.
Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
투표 얘기하던 거 아니었어요. 하지만 여기서 은근슬쩍 떠보는 거죠. 당신한테는 얼마나 가치가 있죠?
A spit of a fauna career. We've lined up all the votes we need
이미
already.
매수해놨다.
Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
전 투표에 관심 없습니다.
Good. Then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election.
알겠습니다.
Can't hurt.
사연을 일단 먼저 들어가야지. 인터뷰 한번 하고.
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus? You go for it.
말레올로스의 똘만이구나. 왜 검투사처럼 입고 있죠?
Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why.
그래요.
You want to see me fight? Keep running your mouth, fatuous cunners.
환급률을 어떻게
I
생각하십니까?
think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
얘네가 환급률을 끝장내려는 무리구나.
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
도와드릴 일은 있나요?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
말레올로스가 일단은 그 환급률을 반대하는 무리고, 뭐 누구한테 투표할지 물어보면 당연히 말레올로스를 알 거고.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
돈을 내라.
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
이거 죄 아닙니까? 황금 되고 싶어요?
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
얼마나 원하는데요?
Something good. Just make it good. Whatever. Just
똑같은 쓰레기다. 이건 누가 쓴 거야? 이거 너가 쓴 거 아니야? 저기요, 이거 님이 쓴 거 아니에요?
what now?
안 썼군요. 응? 할 수 있는데? 뭐 임급병 이런 거 뭐 좋아해서 뭐 다른 일이 있나? 탑이에 뭐가 나. 잠깐만요. 혹시 모르니까 저장하고 후그린 상태에서 읽어야겠다. 극장 뒤편에 동굴 깊은 곳으로 들어가서 첫 번째 갈림길에서 오른쪽으로, 두 번째 갈림길에서도 오른쪽으로, 오른쪽. 네요. 일단 훔치지 말아봐. 돈은 뭐 있으면 좋긴 하지만 적어도 이 게임에서는 저 훔친다는 게 또 엔딩이 달라질 수 있으니까. 이건 뭐야? 이렇게. 알았어. 좀 천천히 갈게. 야, 이렇게 대놓고 동전을 주면 그 훔쳐가 달라는 거 아니냐? 참. 미네르바. 약간 그런 거 없나? 인물 정보 같은 거 없나? 이 이름 외우기가 너무 어려운데. 또 타비우스가 누구, 말레올루스가 누군지 알 수가 없네. 알 수가 없어. 아, 여기 님이세요? 옥타비우스?
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over
아,
you.
에키티아님이시구나.
To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
학자라고 하셨는데 이분은 그 누구세요?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, what is your
여사제구나.
story?
서둘러야
A
해서요.
hurry, you say? Well, in that case, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
여기서 어떤 일을 하시죠?
Put simply, I tend to the temples, ensure their sanctity is preserved.
왜죠?
Why? So that we continue to honor our gods, invite their blessings, and not bring their wrath down upon us, of course. It's vital that we keep them appeased and remain in their good graces.
베스타의
You
여사제.
really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta burning.
성화를
Maybe you know who
유지한다.
Vesta is?
누군데요?
Vesta is the mother goddess of hearth and home, and
아,
the guardian of the Roman people.
바롯과 가정의 여신이다. 여기로는 어떻게 오게 됐죠?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
네. 이렇게 왔네요.
Baron, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you.
카렌이 무슨 뜻이길래? 카렌 평범한 이름 아닌가? 특이할 거 없는 이름인데요?
I see. I wonder if... No,
솔직하게 말씀해주세요.
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
좋아요.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
리비아가 무슨 일을 당했죠?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member
정신이
of our little
나갔다.
community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows and told us we were ignorant of some pattern.
규칙을
Now,
알지
it could be
못한다.
unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
왜요?
Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth and come back to me if you discover any patterns.
노력해보자. 뭐 황금률은 어떻게 생각하세요?
I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
해보세요.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living
그래,
a humble
노부부가
life in a
있고
small
거지가
town.
찾아왔는데
They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night.
사람들은
Of course,
거절했고
being
재워달라는
vagrants, they're turned
요청을
away shop until finally they come to the little cottage
바우시스와
where Baucis and Philemon
필레몬은
lived. Now, the kind old couple
수락했다.
had They invite these strangers into their
포도주도
house
주고.
and offer them food. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old
근데 술을
lady,
너무 많이
begins to worry
마셨고
that, and then she notices something strange. Her wine
근데
pitcher
많이
keeps
마시는데
refilling
포도주병이
itself, as if by
저절로
magic.
찼다.
Realizing only a select, says to her husband, Philemon, I think these men are gods in disguise. Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine.
신들이 변장한
And the
거라고
vagrants
생각했고
metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury,
주피터,
trickster god. They
Mercury.
confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it.
혹시 도시를 파괴하지 말라고 소원을?
So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely,
아니구나.
and they receive their wish, which is for
그 정도로
eternity
착하진 않았네.
together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal. But I like to think it's that we should always show
왜요? 신들이 시험을 통과하지 못했다는 이유로 그냥 죽여버릴 수 있다는 걸 시사한지도 모르죠. 이거 왜 이렇게 말이 없지? 한 번만 해볼까?
A cynic philosopher might take that view, but it's not entirely invalid, I suppose.
의외로 반응이 그렇게 나쁘지 않네. 선거는
It
어떻게
must be
진행되고 있나요?
completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and
저렇게
Malleolus,
두
the
명이나
challenger.
가는구나.
Why do you ask?
투표는
All
누가 할
of
수
the
있죠?
male citizens who are willing and able to attend. Unless
남자만?
they're running, of course.
여자는 못하고.
That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself.
아,
But in this
여사제면
case,
가능하다.
given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
예를 들면
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
재능. 그래서 얘는 감독관이라고 했고.
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
성관이구나. 그래요.
Certainly.
일단 이것도 물어볼까?
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
그래요.
Come back to me once you...
정리하자면 얘네들도 원래부터 여기에 살았던 거는 아니고 뭔가 자기도 모르는 이유로 그냥 온 것 같아요. 정확히 그게 뭔지 모른다.
You're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
안 들어가려고 했는데 들어가지 말라고 하니까 들어가고 싶던데요?
Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you?
왜 들어가면 안 되죠?
Nobody's told you about Hannibal. Ugh, why do I have to do
이젠
everything?
도미티우스구나.
So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell.
혹시
One day,
한니발?
a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me
인육을
his
먹진
cisterns are
않았죠?
haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground. And hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie. I saw a creature.
괴물이
Like the
있다.
corpse of a man who'd been flayed. And it was eating Hannibal.
그래서요?
What any sane person would have done. I legged it out of there and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
그래도 들어가야겠다면?
Well, it's your funeral.
괜찮아요. 저 무기는 없지만 저장이 있습니다. 일단 숙여봐. 여기 있다. 도망가. 아하. 즉시 도망. 일단 쟤는 죽일 수 있는 무기를 갖고 와야 되는 것 같고. 다른 아니 근데 아까 뭐 신전 뒤에서 2번 돌아가라 막 이런 거는 소지품이 없네. 그냥 알아서 메모해야 되나? 아, 일단 혹시 모르니까. 극장 뒤편 동굴 오른쪽. 이건 좀 메모를 하면서 해야 되겠는데? 킹무장 켜라. 여기는 아폴로의 성소고, 일단 여기 있는 사람들이랑 얘기를 좀 해볼까요? 빵덩어리 공짜로 보나라고. 빵을 원래 이렇게 밧줄로 이렇게 묶어놓나? 하나만 가져가. 맷돌. 로마식 빵조리법. 이거 이 시대의 요리비책. 백종원 유튜브 같은 그런 거죠. 낙서? 세쿤두스와 키테라는 끝까지 함께했다.
Salve.
도둑놈 오피우스가 내 지갑을 훔쳐서. 혹시 님 오피우스세요?
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius.
데시우스?
Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
줄리아나 또 누구야? 사연 인터뷰 좀 합시다.
You mean how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale.
들어보죠.
All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing through a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
술에 선택했구나. 술에 골랐죠?
Of course I chose the
그럴
cart.
줄 알았어,
I mean, I
임마.
can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
그래서요?
No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a
나랑
single
똑같네.
silver coin.
그러니까 강에 밀려서 떠내려왔다는 거랑 동전 하나만 가지고 있었다는 공통점이 있네요.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, sure, I'd lost a few thousand denarii, but I've already made it back, and this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
나가는 법을 압니까?
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking.
그래요.
Oh yeah, gotta watch out. Old Dacius has got your back though.
황금률을 어떻게 생각하십니까?
Terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk.
알을 얻으라. 무기를 금하지 않았네?
technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet.
그래요.
Thank you, friend.
1번입니까? 2번입니까?
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe.
2번이다.
What hope does he have of protecting us?
그래요.
Certainly.
나도 딱히 누군가를 지지하진 않아.
Another time.
그렇다고 치고 이름이 너무 많이 나와. 얘랑도 제가 한번 해볼까?
Greetings and salutations.
억양이 좀 특이하다.
Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus
옷을 취급하시는 분인가?
and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know. From which exotic part of the world do you hail?
자, 알려진 세상 너머에서 왔습니다.
Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share.
긍정적이야, 이
I cannot wait
친구.
to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
그 인터뷰 한번 합시다.
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
어떻게 여기로 오게 되었죠? 재단사시고.
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
기억 안 난다? 기억나는 부분은.
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the
또
Tiber,
강이야.
invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
보통 강가에서 깨어났구만.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I
나랑
am.
똑같네.
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
그렇죠.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the golden rule that I wish to remind my friends of the
조각상이 될
importance
때
of looking
멋있어야
one's
되니까.
best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
그래요.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best. Anything you like.
착해 보이는 친구네. 나가는 법을 아십니까?
Not so loud. What are you playing at?
그래서 안
I must
엮여.
ask you to stop that at once. Have you not been told about the last attempt?
마지막 시도?
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. Ah, it is a long story.
뭐 당장 어디 갈 것도 아닌데요, 뭐.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
목욕탕 위에 통로가 있다. 아무도 왜 시도하지 않았죠?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place, and so I say it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
왜요? 황금률을 어떻게 생각합니까?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
왜 그런 말씀을
Have you
하시죠?
not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The golden rule has merely brought it into focus.
우린 어떻게 해야 될까요?
I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, avoid doing what you would blame others for doing.
말이 쉽지 뭐.
Regrettably, I think you are correct, my friend. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
압니다.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the golden rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
공짜 마네킹. 좀 긍정적인 분이시네. 그래서 1번입니까 2번입니까?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection,
야,
I
이거?
lean toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
이거 1번 센티우스 좀 긴장해야 되겠는데 좀 지지를 많이 못 얻고 있는데 역시 무력 정치인가?
But of course,
가봅시다. 오줌이야? 저 좀 들어갈게요. 저희 조사 받도록 허락 받았거든요. 돈도 많네. 장사도 안 될 텐데 돈은 왜 이렇게 많은 거예요? 아이씨, 황금 조각선 가져왔네.
Greetings and salutations.
아, 옷도 이렇게 입혀놨구나. 죄인이요. 여기도 또 누가 있네요.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
얘는 뭐 대장장인가? 베르길. 한테 대화하기 전에 녹화 좀 끊고 잠시 화장실 좀 가볼게요.